Everybody and welcome. This is the Coffee with Jade. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please do kindly consider subscribing if you haven't, and thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. Now, with the untimely passing of Kenan Forbes, also known as AKA, Khaya Dlanga has come out to say that AKA actually approached him before he passed away, asking if he could write a book for him. Kenan passed on the 10th of February 2023, and on the 11th of February 2022, he asked me to write a book about his life, almost exactly to the day before he passed on, he said. And then he went on to make this thread. Honestly, bro, I just can't. I don't have the time nor expertise to write about someone else, I said. Besides, why would you want me to write it? Bro, I respect you and I want you to do it. You have credibility and you know how to write. I wouldn't be asking you if I didn't mean it. And I'm not asking you because I'm at the club drinking. In fact, I'll call you in the middle of the day so that you realize I'm serious, he said. Your name would be as big as mine on the cover. It would be a proper bestseller, I'm sure of it, he said. What would your book be about? I suggest that you plan what it will be about first. I'll maybe walk you through the process, I said, still trying to get him to agree to do the writing himself. I wanted to cover colored identity. I'm the first colored hip hop crossover artist. I'm accepted by the black, colored, and white communities in SA. I want to cover the fact that I went to St. John's. Not many people know that, he said. Do you know the title of the book yet? I asked. He looked at me and said, give me a moment. He sat thinking for what seemed like 2 minutes with the loud music blaring inside Coco. He turned to me and said, I got it. Infamous, he said. Infamous, I repeated back to him. Yes, in would be in brackets, as in inside fame, because I live in fame and everything I do is in it, Kenan said. Infamous. That was the title. I loved it, and the double meaning was equally impressed by how quickly he came up with it and the rationale he gave to me. I'm intrigued, especially because of the various subject matters you said you'd want covered. I'm not saying I'll do it. I honestly have a lot on my plate and cannot do it, I said. It's all good. Take your time and think about it. We danced, had a few drinks, and the night ended. Just 11 days later, Ricky Rick passed on. 2 weeks after his passing, Kenan called me at 11. In the first week of March, I told you I'd call you in the daytime so you wouldn't think I was saying what I said because we'd had a few drinks. I really meant it, especially now with the passing of Ricky, he said. The call was a few days before the 2-year anniversary of the passing of my own brother, so I felt a pang of pain when he mentioned Ricky Rick. My brother had also died by his own hand. I said I'll think about it and would consult a few people to see what they think. If I did it like you, I'd only do it if I talked to you. But Kenan, if I do this, you'd have to be serious. You know yourself. You're temperamental. Would have to make arrangements. Every time you're down in Cape Town, you should hit me up and we'll record your story. I'd ask you questions and you would have to answer honestly. I'd have to have it on tape so that when I have time, I can start transcribing if I decide to, I said. I promise I'll always be there and give you time. This is important. I'm just glad you have moved from saying no to saying you'll think about it and are considering it. I told him I was in the process of writing my own book and would only get to his after I felt comfortable agreeing to write his. He said he got it. At the end of last year, we were once again at adjacent tables at Nostra in Bryanston. We talked about the book and said we'd get serious about it this year. I'd be done with my book in April of 2023. I really thought there was time, but time does not belong to us, he said. Now, as usual, Tweeps has something to say back to Dlanga. Please don't write it. You never wanted to do it from the start, and it's a lot, she said. He said, so no, we don't want it, bro. Okay, so what's the use of telling us this when you did refuse to write his book? Or you're trying to tell us you were in contact with Kenan? I don't see the reason of jotting all this because it really has no taste. Just plain cannot even quench thirst, Prince said. You missed the opportunity to tell the story of a legend because of pride and lack of vision. Now, what is the purpose of telling us your consecutive and several refusals while the person is no more? You were never interested in writing his book. You refused to write it, not once, not twice, but many times. If what you're saying really happened. But now you're here on Twitter talking about a book you refused to write. You are piggybacking off this guy's death. Get out of here, man, someone else said. You were given one job, only one job, and you failed to deliver his wish. Now you're here writing paragraphs, blah, 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 things you should have done right away. Jeez. Gloria said, "This thing of I should have or could have etc. no longer works in my opinion," said Leroy Lee. Goba, you had time to consider writing his book, but you didn't. So it's okay and we can move on. Owunya will learn that we're not the keepers of time and we must enjoy every moment. Now, please tell me down in the comment section, you guys, what do you think? Do you think Khaya should continue writing this book in the memory of AKA, or he should just let it go since he initially refused to write the book about him? He lost his opportunity when he refused